I never imagined that the quiet life I shared with my husband, Richard, would end in a storm of betrayal, greed, and deceit. For 25 years, we built everything together: our home, our business, and what I believed was unbreakable trust. But I was wrong. It began the day I received a call from St. Mary's Hospital. "Mrs. Dawson," the voice said softly, "your husband has suffered a cardiac arrest. You should come immediately." My heart froze. The world seemed to crumble beneath me. I rushed to the hospital, praying silently that he'd be okay. But by the time I arrived, it was too late. Richard Dawson, my husband of 25 years, was gone. I stood there in disbelief, the sterile scent of antiseptic filling my lungs. The nurse handed me a small envelope. "He wanted you to have this," she said gently. Inside was a handwritten note in his familiar, careful script. "If you're reading this, my love, I'm sorry. I couldn't say goodbye. Take care of yourself, and remember, the truth is always buried where love once lived." I didn't understand what he meant then. But I would, soon enough. 3 days later, while arranging his funeral, a woman appeared at my door. Tall, elegant, and wearing black from head to toe, she looked like grief wrapped in luxury. Her perfume was too strong, her smile too polished. "Mrs. Dawson," she said smoothly, "I'm Cassandra Lewis, Richard's business partner." Her pause was deliberate, her eyes scanning my face to catch my reaction. "Business partner?" I repeated, though something deep inside me already knew that wasn't the full truth. She gave a delicate shrug. "We worked closely. He trusted me with everything." I wanted to believe her. I wanted to believe that she was only there out of respect. But as the days passed, her presence became suffocating. She attended every meeting with the lawyer, every discussion about the estate, acting as though she had every right to be there. Then came the day of the will reading. The lawyer, Mr. Patel, sat at the head of the mahogany table, clearing his throat as he unfolded the document. My heart pounded as he began to read. "I, Richard Dawson, being of sound mind and body, hereby bequeath all my properties, assets, and holdings to Cassandra Lewis." The rest of the words blurred. I couldn't breathe. "To Cassandra, the mistress." I turned to her in disbelief. Her lips curved into a faint, victorious smile. "I told you he trusted me," she whispered. I felt the room spin. "This is impossible," I gasped. "He would never," but the lawyer simply shook his head. "The will is clear, Mrs. Dawson. It's been signed, witnessed, and notarized." Tears burned my eyes. My world shattered in a single moment. Cassandra stood and gathered her things, her tone dripping with false sympathy. "I'll give you a week to move out of the house. Don't make this harder than it needs to be."
Her words hit like a slap. She turned and walked out, leaving behind a trail of perfume and poison. That night, I sat alone in the darkened living room, surrounded by memories. Every picture on the wall, every piece of furniture we'd chosen together, now felt like a lie. I stared at the letter Richard had left me, the one that mentioned the truth buried where love once lived. Something inside me whispered, he knew something would happen. The hidden clues. Next morning, I began searching. I tore through drawers, opened safes, flipped through old business records, anything that could explain this nightmare. That's when I found an old key tucked behind a photograph of our wedding day. A small brass key engraved with the letter R. It didn't fit any lock in the house. But I remembered something: Richard's old study in our countryside villa, the one we hadn't visited in years. It had a log cabinet he always said contained just old memories. I drove there that evening, the sky heavy with rain. The air smelled of earth and secrets. Inside the study, I found the cabinet, and the key fit perfectly. Inside was a dusty file labeled "Confidential, Trust Deed." As I read the papers, my pulse quickened. It was a legal document showing a secret trust Richard had created just a month before his death, one that left everything to me. The property, the company shares, the house, all of it. But that wasn't all. Attached to it was a letter, dated just a week before he died. "If anything happens to me, this is the only valid testament. Cassandra cannot be trusted. She forged documents before. Keep this safe, and if needed, reveal it in court." I sank into the chair, tears streaming down my face. He knew. Cassandra had forged a fake will, and Richard had hidden the real one for me to find. The game begins next day. I went to Mr. Patel's office with the new document. But before I could even show him, He sighed heavily. Mrs. Dawson, please, let it go, he said quietly. You're grieving. Cassandra has already taken over the company. The will we read is legally binding. I stared at him. Did she pay you too? He froze. That was answer enough. She had bought him. That night, I made a decision I would not be silent. I found a young lawyer, Maya Thompson, a fierce woman with a reputation for fighting injustice. I showed her the document. Her eyes widened as she examined it. This is real. This predates the forged will. If we can prove the other one is fake, you can reclaim everything. I nodded, fire rising in my chest. Then let's bring her down. Confrontation.
The day I saw Cassandra again was at the company's board meeting. She sat at the head of the table, dressed in white this time, as if purity could be worn like perfume. "Ah, Mrs. Dawson," she said smoothly. "I didn't expect you to come." "Oh, I'm full of surprises," I replied. Her smile faltered. The board member shifted uncomfortably as I placed a file on the table. "This," I said, "is the real will. Signed by Richard himself, witnessed and registered before he died." Cassandra laughed, a cold, rehearsed laugh. "Desperation doesn't suit you, dear. Anyone can type a few papers and call it a will." "Maybe," I said calmly, "but not everyone can forge a signature as perfectly as you can." Her face paled. I leaned closer. "I know about the fake documents, the trust transfers, the payments you made to Mr. Patel, and I'm taking all of it to court." For the first time, she lost her composure. "You have no proof." "Then I guess the judge will decide," I said, turning to leave. The trial, 2 months later, the courtroom buzzed with whispers. Cassandra arrived in a tailored black suit, flanked by expensive lawyers. I walked in quietly, holding the file that Richard had left behind, the truth in my hands. Her lawyer stood and presented the official will, arguing that I was a bitter widow trying to undo my husband's final wishes. But when it was my turn, Maya called in an expert, a forensic handwriting analyst. He compared both wills side by side and said, "The signature on the second will is a forgery." A murmur spread through the courtroom. Cassandra's expression turned to stone. Then Maya handed the judge the trust deed, Richard's true document, signed, sealed, and verified. As the judge read through it, silence filled the room. Finally, he looked up. "This court recognizes the trust deed as the legitimate testament of the late Mr. Richard Dawson. All assets are to be restored to his legal wife, Mrs. Evelyn Dawson. Furthermore, an investigation into the forged will is hereby ordered." Cassandra's face drained of color. I stood there, my heart pounding with a mix of grief, victory, and justice. When I walked past her, I whispered, "You thought you took everything, Cassandra, but you forgot one thing, the truth." Hey everyone! If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more amazing content. And click the bell icon, so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching.